Welcome to episode 16 of the Babes Talking Business podcast. We're so excited for this episode. We have Helen Van on the show, the co-owner of Aimin, a well-known Scandinavian activewear label. These two girls from Aimin have an amazing startup story that starts all the way back in 2013, where they explained that they got really tired of wearing their dull and uninspiring sportswear while doing all their favorite things like surfing and kitesurfing, yoga, running and their gym workouts. And so the dream of Aimin was born, and it was to boost and inspire and motivate themselves and others with up-to-date, funky, happy designs with colors and prints that were inspired by their childhood, life, nature, and all of their favorite things. So when they told people about their dream to start their activewear label, Aimin, they were laughed at, they were told to stop dreaming, and they were told that they were going to lose all their money. They stayed confident, and 4 years later, they've sold their products in more than 145 countries around the world, having well over 100,000 satisfied customers. They have 17 retailers in over 20 different countries, and the best of all, they have a huge Aimin tribe online of incredibly inspiring girls from all around the world, topped off with a $11 million revenue year last year, which is just crazy. So I love these two chicks. We had so much fun talking to Helen about all things business startups, the ups and the downs, and their message is that no dream is too big. Their message is to believe in yourself, do it with passion, and never ever give up, because quitters never win and winners never quit. So don't forget, guys, you can follow us on Instagram by heading over to Babes Talking Business, where we do a shout out of the week every week. All you need to do is leave us a review on iTunes and let us know what you think about the channel. And don't forget to leave your Instagram handle so that we can tag you and share you with our tribe. You can also check us out on our website at www.babestalkingbusiness.com, where we have loads of more information, including upcoming events that we have going on this year and next year, and some really, really cool stuff from what's happened already this year in 2018. And lastly, this podcast is actually a vlogcast, meaning you can watch some interviews over on our YouTube channel and see our interviewees in the flesh by heading over to our YouTube channel. Links for all of these are below in the podcast notes and on our website as well. So without further ado, we are so excited to introduce to you this total boss babe, Helen Van. Helen, thank you so much for first of all, coming to the country, to the on the podcast in Australia. You're not even from here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited, and this is my first podcast ever. And I think at first of all, I need to explain my accent, maybe.
Yeah, where are you from?
Yeah, so I'm from Sweden, so that's why I'm talking like this.
Yeah, I know. Helen was really nervous to jump on because she thought that maybe without the visual they couldn't be able to understand, but I think your English is so good.
Your English is perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. It is a challenge for me to do this kind of stuff, but it's just fun, and you grow
actually,
as a person.
That's what I really loved about you, what you said earlier. You were like, I've never done this before. I'm kind of scared, but I really like to challenge myself, so I've said yes to this. And that is, I think, a really great characteristic of a business owner, because you've got to constantly stretch and grow.
Thank you. Yeah, it's all about personal development, and I think your business is a reflection of who you are, and if you nourish yourself on the personal development and just learn new stuff all the time, you will grow, and the business will grow with you.
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm just excited to have you on the line because a lot of people listening, if you follow me on Instagram, I'm not even kidding, I always get comments saying like, where is your activewear from? And where are your yoga pants from? Where are your Crocs from? And I'm like, just Aim. So anyone who doesn't know Helen, she's one of the co-owners and founders of the beautiful activewear Aim.
No, it's pronounced Aimin.
Aimin.
But actually it's English incorrect because English is not our first language, so we started off to put an N because aiming comes from the word aim, and then aiming is a slang for you're aiming towards something.
Aiming, yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
So we just removed the G. Yeah.
So it's Aimin.
Yeah.
Aimin. Ah, cool.
Aimin High.
Yeah.
Yeah, Loz wears your stuff all the time at the gym. Like, you'll never see her not wearing anything else. And everyone is always like, oh my gosh, I love your ties. Where are they from? I love your crop tops. So,
And I get your little newsletters, and I'll be like letting everyone know at the gym, like, oh, I've got 50% off today. They've got a sale until midnight. So you don't jump on. But so for anyone who follows you on your Instagram feeds, I know you've got a Sweden. There's that Aimin for Sweden,
The global one, yes.
And then there's one for New Zealand and Australia.
Yes, that's correct.
And it's gorgeous. It's full of beautiful women in beautiful clothes, beautiful active wear. But maybe people just see the glorified Instagram posts. And that's why we're really excited to get this podcast off the ground, to actually see the people behind these beautiful brands and actually shine some light on the journey. Because I know right now they probably just see these girls have got hundreds of thousands of followers. They're killing it. But maybe don't actually know where it all started and what the journeys look like to get there.
Yeah.
I would like to, because maybe we could start from where it started, because it was in 2013.
Yeah, so it started, I was living in Hong Kong, and the reason I was moving there because my sister, she has a muscle disease, so her dream was to move to Hong Kong and learn Chinese. And 2 days before she moved there, she fired her two personal assistants. And I couldn't see her dream press, so I just quit my job and quit my studies and moved with her there.
Wow.
And after like a few weeks, I just started to feel really useless, and I didn't know what to do with my life. I didn't have a career because I just quit my job and my studies. So I just decided there, like, I'm not gonna give a shit. I'm not allowed to say that. Sorry.
We say we get passionate.
Everyone swears.
Like, no one should ever define me who I am based on a piece of grade on a paper, or that's not what I'm capable of. So I just decided I'm going to create my own path, be my own boss, and design my life on my own terms. So there I started to look for options, and like, I always wanted to start a business, and I think everything started from there. And on a Skype call with my high school friend Tekla, who's the co-founder of Aimin as well, we started to talk and dream about having this sportswear brand or a bikini brand. And from there, we just started to design and find suppliers. And I went to China from Hong Kong all the time and we didn't have any experience. So we just did it, and we decided to create a confident brand. And yeah, from there it just grew, and we created an Instagram account and started to get followers and show them samples like, hey, do you like this? Or do you like what colors do you like? So we got a lot of feedback in the beginning.
Yeah.
And we released 6 months after and sold out 400 pieces within 5 hours.
400 pieces in 5 hours. Your first drop.
I know. I was like, holy shit, we're doing something. We're like,
doing something right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like a few days after, one of Sweden's biggest retailer, they contacted us and wanted to stock our brand.
Wow.
And we're like, oh no, we don't have any stock.
Yeah.
So we had to go back in China. Oh, I forgot to tell you about that. The factory used in the beginning, like, to totally screw us up.
Yeah.
And they sent home 400 pieces of ties that had a hole. So we had to spend a whole weekend, like, remove all the stitching and have a stitching lady restitch everything.
Oh, wow.
And the worst part, we already sold all the 400 pieces.
Oh my gosh, so you had already sold them, but they all had holes in them.
Yeah.
So you had to
restitch them.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I thought I was challenged in my business.
No, so we had to flew back to China and try to get our money back. It didn't work. And then we found a new supplier, luckily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a cool little lesson to learn early on.
Yeah, I would say so. So from there we just started to create more designs, got bigger following, and after a few months I actually moved to New Zealand because that was a dream of mine, and then I just brought the brand with me there and tried to grow it in New Zealand and Australia.
And that's where your business partner lives as well? Is she from New Zealand?
No, Tekla is actually based in Sweden.
Oh, she is.
So what we do, we just Skype every second day, kind of.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Truly, like, online partnership.
Definitely.
That's incredible.
So now our team have grown to 30-ish people.
Yeah.
I think so. We have a base in Sweden and a base in New Zealand.
I love that. And so I know I was looking at your website before, and we're talking numbers, so I know your numbers aren't updated. So you're in more than 145 countries at the moment, over 100,000 satisfied customers, over 20 retailers in different countries. Like, that's pretty amazing to think of something that two young girls started just as a little side hustle at the start.
Yeah.
Did you think of it when you started at the start did you have the vision for it to be what it is now?
Actually, already from start, we're really confident to young ladies, to be honest, and we're gonna aim high and dream big from the beginning and just ship worldwide, and we're gonna be a global leading brand that actually inspire and motivate women. That's what we wanted to do from the beginning. I think that vision is still with us.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your Instagram following, because we live in a day and age now where social media and using that as a platform for marketing is such a really smart business decision. But with algorithms now and what's going on with Facebook and Instagram, it's quite hard to build a business now if you start now building a following like that. But you guys got in, you started in 2013?
Yeah, 4 years ago.
And you guys just soared, on Instagram, your following just rocketed through the stratosphere.
Yeah, I think it was really good timing at that time. It wasn't that hard to reach out to everyone, and everyone saw their post and they actually commented that, and we actually got a lot of organic reach, and we had giveaways and stuff like that in the beginning. But now you can feel it's so harder to reach out. Not even 5% see your post nowadays, so you need to have a strategy to be seen.
So what is your strategy? What do you do now that obviously Facebook and Instagram have caught on, that people are monetizing their platforms to build their businesses? They made it just a tiny bit harder.
Yeah.
What do you do? What would you suggest for someone to do that's trying to build a business online?
So I would say engagements, try to communicate with your followers or community, because that will change the algorithm. I can't even pronounce that.
Algorithm. It's a weird word.
And also focus on boost posts, because you want all your followers to actually see that, and also speak to them as friends and talk from the heart, because people will see if it's too thought through and stuff like that.
Yeah. Engagement, essentially. Being authentic and real.
Exactly.
Actually, Loz and I were at an event on the weekend where a girl there was talking about the algorithms on Instagram in particular, and she was mentioning how now Instagram loves accounts that stop people from scrolling. So when you're on the newsfeed and you're scrolling, and if you've got a picture that has just made someone stop, and then they just stay there a little bit longer than usual, and then they click the read more and open the description, that actually tells Instagram that what you've posted is interesting to other people. And the more people that do that, and the longer you can have people stay on the platform, the more it favours you. So that was really interesting for me, because I actually didn't know that.
No, that's why it's so important with videos and moving images.
Yeah, to keep people on your page a little bit longer. Yeah. It's cool though, because with any business, all this stuff is actually teachable, and there's information out there. You sort of go find it. But I know something we were speaking about earlier. You said one of the things that you've noticed in businesses who are successful is leveraging off people's strengths. So having people who maybe are really good at something and they do a certain part of your business and doing another part. Yeah. So do you have somebody do all your social media and teach you all those things, or did you girls kind of teach yourselves?
So me and Tekla is still doing the social media, because that's the voice of the brand, and I think it will be the last thing we will actually let go of.
Delegate,
But having and running a business is so many more parts than just the social media. So it's better to focus on your strength and actually, leverage other people or partners or
and have your weaknesses delegated to people who are professionals at what they do.
Definitely. And I think when you know yourself, your values and what you stand for and why you wake up in the morning, everything else will follow. For me, it took a while before I actually understood myself, and once I knew my why, for example, the reason I want to create this Aimin tribe and community is because when I grew up, I always felt like an outsider. I was the only Asian girl, so my parents are Chinese, the only Asian girl in school, and I always wished I had blonde hair and blue eyes as everyone else, and I was dressed so differently from anyone else, but I always had this drive to be like myself and have these dreams of traveling the world and doing. I didn't feel like I was as everyone else, and that's okay. It doesn't matter who you are, how you look like, but back then I wish there was a community who told me it's okay to have big dreams, it's okay to follow your passions and look different, it's okay, just embrace it. That's why it's so important for me to create a community, a tribe where everyone feels welcome. Doesn't matter what kind of passions you have, how you look like, or what you want to do. So that's my why. And once you know your whys and values, I think everything else will follow as well.
And when you were, like, obviously it grew. It might have seemed like it's grown quickly, but I guess when you're in it 4 years, it is actually a long time. You've been working in it consistently. It's not something that just happened overnight. But at what point in your business did you kind of decide, like, where did you take that leap to kind of get somebody, like, add people to your team and start delegating? So I know when it's your own business, I don't know about you, but for me, I got my first PA like a few months ago, and it was like, oh my God, I'm actually, like, it's a part of my business, I'm trusting somebody else to do.
Yeah.
So at what point did that happen for you, and how did you find that process?
Oh shit, it's been really, really, really hard. That's my biggest challenge still, actually. And it took me way too long before I could let things go. And I think it's because of my ego. I had to work on it a lot and be able to let things go and delegate to other people and actually trust it. So to be honest, I'm still struggling with it. I do every day, because it's your little baby. You don't just want to. But that's why it comes back to actually knowing yourself, what's your strength, what's your weaknesses. Focus on that and find other people that and let them do it, and they even do it 10 times better. Like for me, I'm more the big picture person, while my business partner and life partner Johan, it's more a detail and structure people. And our operation and manager Lisa, that you met before, she's more a doer. So I'm more the dreamer, and she actually makes sure to have a plan for it and execute it, and then she has people who actually do the things when she has the plan. So it's all about creating that flow and have like one of every kind of profile who do what they're good at. Because a business will never survive if you do everything on your own.
Totally.
So
that's like Lozzie and I. We know what each other's strengths and weaknesses are. We work really well. It's like yin and yang, but it works really well.
Exactly. But being honest to yourself and actually like, oh shit, this is not what I'm good at. I should actually let it go.
Still working on it.
Still working in progress. Every day,
I think that's something I've learnt too, though, because especially in our business, we're a business of educating and empowering women to be happier and healthier versions of themselves. And sometimes you feel like you're kind of not walking your talk because you burn yourself out trying to do 100 things at once. So I totally understand. I was working it too. I'm like, is it my ego? Is it because I don't trust that they can do it better than I can? So I'm there. It's a work in process.
I think it's all part of the trial and error and you growing. Like, I know for me, like, one of my experiences recently was I need a website created. And I'm someone who will jump on YouTube, I'll teach myself how to do it, and I could whip it up. Like, I could actually do it. But there was a part of me that was like, no, I need to delegate these tasks. My time is, like, really well spent elsewhere. And so, trying to find a website designer and a developer and trial and error and getting someone who totally stuffed it up to someone else who just totally didn't see my vision to just someone who just doesn't have work ethic. I'm like, oh my God, I just want to do this website on my own. But it's your ego pulling you. I totally get what you mean by that. I think we're all in a work in progress.
It's hard.
What do you think, reflecting on your journey for the last 4 years, what do you think's been your most proud moment? Or, like, obviously, like, it's hard work. I don't want to use the word hard. It's rewarding work. But what's been the biggest perk for you, or a moment where you kind of like, I've made it, or this is what it's been for?
Wow, that's a hard question. But for me, money doesn't drive me. I just love seeing people, because I know how important it is to be happy and living your dream life. And sometimes it's just not about the money. It's about what your passion are and how your everyday life should look like. So for me, being able to support or empower people to actually now I'm saying shit again. I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
No, but like empowering people to realizing like everything is possible, like as long as you aim high and dream big, because everything starts with having that vision in front of you, and then you're halfway there. And if you know yourself, you can just create a path that works for your kind of profile, because everything is possible, but you just need to have a plan and a good strategy to get there.
Mm.
Definitely.
how did you go getting a plan? So once you knew what you wanted, you got this vision, and you know that you wanted to create something bigger, and you know that you're a pretty confident girl, you're a go-getter. How did you, like you said, you're this person who dreams big, but how did you actually go putting the plan together? Like, was it clear? Was it like here, and how you think it would look? Or how did that kind of...
No, you just have to like do and fail, I would say, and learn from it. Like we failed so many times, we lost a lot of money, and we had bad partnerships, and we got people who copy us or steal our stuff and stuff like you just have to try and error, I guess.
That's something I want to ask you about, people who copy you. Obviously, like you guys have created something that's amazing. You've got your own I guess like your own mission, your own like your ethics, like the way the message that you send across to people, then your designs, like they're so unique. Have you got a lot of companies that are sort of like ripping your stuff off or copying your websites, or like tell me about that?
Oh, so we have so many of them, and in the beginning when we saw the first one, we started to cry like for a week. But now we don't do that anymore, because we just, it's better to focus to be one step ahead than actually focus on all the copycats out there. Like they can just like steal your design, but they can steal your creativity on how you run your business. And I think it really hurts when you see like other factories in China doing fake copies of your brand. That I think that hurts the most, because we can't protect it really, not at this stage, because we're still waiting for the trademark to go through. But also seeing other brands copying, like getting some inspiration from the design, I would say, and actually make it even better. That really hurts.
Yeah,
definitely.
You know, this is definitely something that I always struggle with. I tell this to Loz all the time. And I think I understand where you come from, because you guys are so creative, and it's what you're creating is coming from you, like within you. And then to see someone else do something that's similar, it hurts. And so I've personally been doing a lot of growth in this area, and I'm reading a really good book at the moment, and it's called Big Magic by, is it Lisa Messenger, the girl who wrote Eat, Pray, Love?
Okay.
She talks about this in that book. I was given that book for this reason, and she actually has a really cool concept in that when you see someone who's you feel has, or you perceive have copied you or taken something from you, she talks about this theory about it's called like dual creation or dual birth of creation. It's when two complete different people who aren't like working together, they're not aligned with one another at all, they don't even know each other's work, somehow create the same theory, or they create the same thing at the same time. And there's like in history it's happened heaps where like the person who the black hole in space was discovered by two different people at the exact same time, and they didn't know about each other's work, and it's like stuff with quantum physics and space and then some other discoveries in history. She was saying like it always happened at the same time, and the reason why that's happened is because there's like this intrinsic thing in the universe where a really good idea will always end up at two places at the same time. Really weird concept. It's getting kind of deep here. But when I read that, I was like, I really love that, because I was getting so charged on, oh my God, and this person is doing it better than me, and that person's taking that from me. And at the end of the day, it's like, well, there's no such thing as a original idea. Well, there is, but it's rare. You know, we all get inspiration from somewhere, but I totally get how that feels. And I think every business owner will always go through this.
Yeah, that's part of the game.
It's part of the growth.
Yeah, and it's knowing that you're doing something really well. Like, you got to think, people wouldn't be copying you or be inspired by your work if you weren't resonating with them. And you got to, I think, that's what you said, it comes back to your why. Like, what's your why? I think a lot of people, when they start out, their why is to help people, it's to influence people, it's to have a positive impact. Yeah. And so when if you reconnect back with that, it's kind of like, oh, well, I'm doing it. Like, I'm resonating with people at a deeper level that I never thought I would.
Yeah.
So I'd love to know, what's your biggest challenge now? Obviously, me and Shani and I, okay, we'll say that. We always say another level, another devil. So like whether or not it's a new level of awareness or a new level of business or leadership, what's the devil that you're facing at the moment?
Ooh, Oh, that's a tough one. For me, I would say to being able living in the moment. Like, this is where I'm still like, that's a challenge for me all the time, because you're always so focused on the next strategy, next plan, next task to do. And being able to actually enjoy the moment when you're with your partner, with your family, or when you're like doing other stuff that's not work. Like, I think that's the challenge, and you need to wind down. Wind down, sorry, in order to elevate and perform better. So this is something that I think as a business owner you need to have, that work-life harmony, and this is something I'm working on all the time, and that's why I love personal development. You can always grow to be a better version of yourself, and that's how you can be like give back to your like followers, to your community, to the business, to your employees, for example.
I love that. I think that's always going to be something that you work on. Sorry, computer, that's just made a really weird noise. It's my notifications. Have lunch. I have to remind myself to have lunch. Okay, and this is exactly why I do this, because of this topic. Because
that's a really good thing to do.
If I don't remind myself to have lunch, I will sit on the computer and just not eat, not drink.
I'm like that as well,
So, high five, sister.
High five. No, that's a really good thing to have a reminder.
I can't say I have that problem. I think about food all the time. Like, if I'm not eating, I'm thinking about when I'm eating it.
I just get in my zone and I don't stop.
Yeah, I totally agree.
My husband has to peel me off the computer sometimes. He's like, Shani, you haven't moved all day. Like, let's go for a walk or something. And I'm like, I know I need to, but I just need to respond to this one more email.
I'm like that as well. But that's because we're passionate about what we're doing. And I think that's the reason.
I think it's really refreshing to see someone else who is really successful in their business and they have the same challenges. It's really nice to hear that, and we're always developing and growing.
We're human beings.
So I've just figured out something really strange, and I just have to tell you guys. So this whole time we've been sitting here, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've been like fixing my top because it keeps falling down and I'm scared I'm going to like expose my nipples. I've got it on back to front.
So you don't have to be a successful business owner and have your shit together. You can still walk around with your clothes on back.
I just want to like twist it so that my boobs aren't. Sorry,
that's okay. You can do it. No one will see it.
I think I'll survive. We've not got long.
That was amazing. I'm just so grateful that we finally got to meet you, and our paths have crossed in this crazy universe of ours. I'd love to know if we've got people who are tuning in, whether or not they've got a business idea, or maybe they're settling for a job or a lifestyle they're just not happy for and they're not aiming. What advice would you give them?
Aim high and dream big, of course, and everything is possible. Like, just look at me and Tekla. We're like two small town girls with just big dreams, and we learn by doing. So you just have to know yourself and find your path and go for it.
I love it. That's really cool. Thank you so much for being on our podcast. That was the best episode.
I loved it.
Thank you for having me.
And where can our followers find you if they want more of you?
On my Instagram,
which is?
Sorry. I just had to think about how I say it in English, but it's Hille Van, and that's actually my Swedish nickname. So it's HILLEVAN.
We'll put it in the podcast.
Yeah, I think it's easier.
It's in the podcast.
I never said it in English before, actually. That's why I had to think.
That's so funny.
But definitely go check out Aimin's Instagram pages. They're honestly my favourite activewear. I love them.
Thank you.
Now when you see me or my kit, you know it's from these beautiful girls.
Thank you so much, Helen.
Thank you.
We hope you loved that episode of the Babes Talking Business vlogcast. Guys, we're just loving bringing you these episodes. Our mission is to share and add value to your week, whether you're a budding entrepreneur or you're a veteran in the owning your own business game. Don't forget, if you're loving our podcast, we would love for you to rate us and drop us some love on the iTunes app, because we want to know your feedback. We want to know what you're thinking. once a week, one lucky reviewer will be shouted out on our Instagram. So when you leave us some feedback on the iTunes app, don't forget to include your Instagram handle and or your website so that we can shout you out. Guys, you can follow us on Instagram by going to @babestalkingbusiness. You can check out our website at www.babestalkingbusiness.com, and this podcast is actually a vlogcast as well, meaning you can watch each and every single interview by heading over to our YouTube channel. All the links for all of these are below in the podcast notes and on our website as well. Thanks for tuning in.